Hi, welcome to Children Worship and Wonder for the week beginning Sunday, May 9th. We'll begin our worship by lighting our Christ candle to remember that Jesus is the light of the world and the darkness will not overcome that light. And we remember that Jesus is our good shepherd and that the birth of Jesus was so important that we leave our nativity out all year long. And today is the 5th Sunday after Easter, this Sunday right here. And we notice that the season of Easter is white, and so our parament is also white. And next we collect our offering. It's right to give back to God for all the blessings that God has given us. So we can put money in, we can offer our heart to God, or we can offer a prayer of a project or a behavior that we'll do for God in the upcoming week. And all three of those things are equally important to God. So whatever offering you bring is good and it's important. Next, we'll hear a song about the fruits of the Spirit. Maybe you already have that memorized, but some kids are still working on it. So enjoy learning what a real fruit of the Spirit is. And I'll see you back here for the story.
The fruit of the Spirit's not a coconut. Fruit of the Spirit's not a coconut. If you want to be a coconut, you might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a banana. The fruit of the Spirit's not a banana. You wanna be a banana? You might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a watermelon. The fruit of the Spirit's not a watermelon. You wanna be a watermelon? You might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a lemon. The fruit of the Spirit's not a lemon. You wanna be a lemon? You might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Oh, the fruit of the Spirit's not a cherry. The fruit of the Spirit's not a cherry. If you wanna be a cherry, you might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Okay! Everybody knows that grapes come in bunches, so everybody get in big bunches. The fruit of the Spirit's not a grape. The fruit of the Spirit's not a grape. You wanna be a grape? You might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. The fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness, and self-control.
And now, let's sing our Be Still song to get ready to be still and quiet and listen to our story. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Welcome back to Children Worship and Wonder for the week of Sunday, May 9th. Our story continues here by the Sea of Galilee. Remember that the Sea of Galilee is such an important place that we need a small piece of it in our worship center. And in this particular story, the 7 of the disciples were along the Sea of Galilee, and they decided to go fishing. And if you remember the beginning of the story, they started here and they went out and they cast their net so many times and came up empty. And then this person appeared along the shore. They were so far away they couldn't tell who it was at first. But he asked them, "Have you caught anything?" And they're like, "Nope, not a thing." And he tells them to cast their net to the right side of the boat and they would find some. And so that's what they did. They threw their net out, and you can see they caught so many fish that they couldn't hardly all haul it in. While they were working on pulling in the net, someone recognized Jesus and said, "It's Jesus." And do you remember who jumped out of the boat, abandoned his 6 friends to the net with the fish that was so heavy they couldn't hardly pull it in? And Peter jumped into the water, swam to the shore, and ran up to greet his beloved friend, Jesus. The rest of the disciples pulled all the fish in to shore, and they arrived where Jesus was and saw that he had a little campfire going, and he had bread, and he had fish cooking so that he could feed them. And after they shared in their meal, this is where part 2 of that story happens. Jesus took his special friend Peter for a walk, and they were talking. And Jesus asked Peter, Jesus says, "Peter, do you love me?" And Peter said, "Lord, you know I do." And so Jesus said to him, "Feed my lambs." And he asked again, "Peter, do you love me?" And Peter said, "Yes, you know I love you." And Jesus said, "Tend my sheep." And a third time, Jesus asked Peter, "Peter, do you love me?" Peter's heart hurt that Jesus would need to ask him 3 times, but he answered, "Lord, you know that I love you. You know everything about me, and you can be assured that I love you." And Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." After he said that, Jesus asked Peter to follow him, and Peter did. Even after Jesus left this earth, Peter had a really important job to do, and he did it. He stayed and he took care of the people that Jesus asked him to, because even though this story isn't a parable, it has a component, a piece of it that's kind of like a parable, in that he asks Peter, or tells Peter, "Feed my lambs, tend my sheep, feed my sheep." And in that particular moment, Jesus isn't really talking about sheep and lambs. He's talking about us, just like we talk about in our parable of the Good Shepherd. He's not telling Peter to go be a good shepherd. He's telling him to take care of the people who are going to want to follow in the ways of Jesus. Jesus is preparing the disciples, reminding them that he's not going to stay walking this earth, even as a new, fully alive human being. The time is coming when he is going back to heaven to stay with God, and the disciples are going to be on their own doing God's work in this world, continuing the work that Jesus did with them. So it's a big job, and Peter is a big part of how the new church develops after Jesus is gone. So let's do some wondering about this story. You can imagine that Peter was pretty excited to see Jesus again, and how the other disciples were delighted to be with Jesus, and probably they were hungry from fishing all night, and so we're really glad that Jesus had some food for them to eat. But this piece of the story today is really about Peter, and I wonder how he felt when Jesus asked him 3 times, did he love Jesus? I wonder where Jesus is calling Peter to go. We know what he's going to do. I wonder where all Peter will go to do that work. And I wonder what kind of shepherd Peter will be. If you want to read more about this story, you might remember from last week that it's in the book of John. I might review today how you find the beginning of the New Testament. If you're not a reader yet, maybe you can't use the table of contents yet, there's a very simple way to find the beginning of the New Testament, which is where all the stories about Jesus are. And it starts by taking your Bible and dividing it in half. See, these are just about equal parts. And then you're going to take the back half and divide it in half. And usually you will end up in one of those first 4 books, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So I've ended up in Matthew, so I'll have to turn some pages to get to the book of John. And this story happens to be at the very end of that book in chapter 21. And remember, the story with Jesus and Peter begins at verse 15 and continues all the way to the end of the chapter. So if you're a reader, you can find that in your own Bible at home. If you're not a reader, then you can ask one of your older brothers and sisters or your parents or your grandparents, and they can help you find that and read that in the Bible. So I hope you enjoyed this story today and take time to have a feast time with your family. And for your prayer time today, I hope you might think about our job for today in following Jesus. Because in this story, Jesus told Peter, take care of the people who are going to follow me. That's not just a job for Peter way back when. That's a job for us now, even today. So how do you not just take care of people around you, but how do you encourage them about reading the Bible or coming to church or praying? You have influence over your friends and family. Maybe you don't pray regularly, and so you could ask your mom or dad or whoever puts you to bed at night to pray with you. You can help them begin to pray every day. Or maybe your family doesn't always pray at mealtime. So the next time you're together, you might say, hey, let's all say a prayer today and give thanks for this food that God has given us. Maybe you don't have your own Bible yet at home. Maybe you could ask for someone to buy you a Bible to where you can read some of these stories for yourself. There's all kinds of things. So in your prayer time today, I want you to pray and ask God to help you think of ways that you can tend God's sheep that are right here around you on earth today. That's all for now. I hope you have a good week, and I can't wait to see you back at church sometime soon. Bye for now.